Hello, I'm Ina, and I do art stuff and things. And oh boy, has it been a year already? Yes, it has. A year from what? What are you talking about, might you ask? Well, I'll tell you. It is anniversary of me painting my first ever watercolor portrait. This is the second one, and yes, it is autumn, but I am in Australia, so anywhere outside of human population, it looks like this, which is what it looks like every season of the year. Anyway, let's go and do this thing. Okay, let's recap. 2 years ago, in lockdown, I was bored, just like all of us, and I thought, ooh, I'm gonna paint this pretty lady. And this is what I did. This is, less pretty, more terrifying, but then a year on, and this is what I did. I'll link a video if you're interested. So this time, I thought, well, I'm gonna do it again, because that was always the plan, and I'm going to do it until the end of days. And what I mean is that my plan is to repaint this painting on the anniversary every year until I die, or, I don't know, get dementia, or less dramatically, get so sick and bored of it that I decide not to do it anymore. Which, let's face it, is the most likely scenario, but this is only year 2, so I'm doing it. I don't know why, but this painting kicked my butt this year. I just really struggled with it. I don't know why. I have been painting portraits for 2 years now, and I love painting portraits, and I have been a bit down lately for a variety of reasons, and I've been trying to paint other things, but let's face it, what I actually love painting is portraits. What gets me excited about painting is portraits. So when I'm painting other things or learning other techniques, they are all with a view of incorporating them into portraits. And I don't quite know what this little rant is all about, except to help you understand how much I love portraits, and how miserable it made me that this one just did not want to play along. If you follow me on any form of social media, you probably know that I'm trying to currently complete the 100 Heads challenge. Obviously, it's not a pure 100 Heads challenge because that takes place in 10 days, and there's no way I'm doing mine in 10 days. I think it's been about 3 months so far, and I'm on number 45, which, is way further than I thought I would ever get to. But the thing is, the way that I am painting these 100 heads is very different to my usual style, which mainly is the speed, because normally a portrait takes me somewhere between 4 and 8 hours, whereas these 100 heads I am doing within an hour, including sketching. I'm not using any grids, I'm not using any tracing, I'm trying to do freehand. Well, not trying, but I am doing freehand sketching for every portrait, so the results are varying. And I don't think I went in with a plan into this one. I did sketch freehand, and I can really see the progress of my sketching. But when I started painting, I kind of had an idea of... I had no idea. I just started painting and had an out-of-body experience where I was watching myself in horror thinking, oh boy, I should really stop, but I'm not going to stop, because that is one rule that I follow. If I started painting, I have to finish it, no matter how badly it's going, because I don't know, it might turn itself around. The self-doubt was strong with this one until way after it was finished. I really thought I failed myself, and I failed you, and I failed the reference, and the country, God, and my parents. Only kidding, my parents failed me, but that's another story. Let's talk about self-doubt instead, and that has been a comfortable constant in the past 2 years of me painting. And I don't know if it's truly a self-doubt or just one of those comfort things that we tell ourselves to protect ourselves from the potential failure and the fallout out of that. Because if we think, or if we tell ourselves that, hey, I'm no good at this, I am just awful and terrible, but hey, look at me, I'm still trying to do it, and then we come up with something passable, then people pat us on the back and say, hey, look, you tried, it's great, instead of us thinking, hey, I am the king dong, I know what I'm doing, it's going to be great. And then it is, maybe it's okay, it's not great, and we're just scared because people will laugh at us. They probably won't, but that's what is going on in my head. I don't know, is it just me? Somebody comment and tell me it's not just me. Thank you. And I am dealing with a failure at the moment. For the second year in a row, I have submitted to a competition, a portrait painting competition, and did not get into the final. Okay, in context, it is the biggest portrait painting competition of the whole country. It has been running for over 100 years. It is very big deal. Last year's one of the winners painted Taika Waititi. Okay, I painted myself. I don't think I can compete with Taika Waititi in any context whatsoever, and I did not expect to get in, because artists who get into the final are the top artists of this country, top portrait artists in Australia at the moment. And I have been painting for 2 years and have no name for myself. And although I did win a local art fest last year, that is the only one so far, and I just need to practice, get better, get a better subject for next year, who's not just me, because come on, who am I? Another disadvantage I have is the fact that I do submit watercolours, and although watercolours are allowed, they are very uncommon. In its over 100-year history of the competition, there has been one watercolour winner, and every year maybe 2 or 3 works get into the final that are watercolours. Out of about 50, 60, I think there's 57 this year, so there's that. I am learning to use oils, and I'm sure I'll do a video about that, because I do actually really love oils. They are different in that I think they appeal to my controlling nature a lot more than watercolours do. But I will never give up on watercolours because, well, I need them. I need them more than they need me. I think oils suit my nature. Watercolours train my nature. They train my nature to let go, to go with the flow and be a bit more fluid and relaxed and create and let things create themselves rather than force things to where I think they should go, which I think is the massive benefit of watercolors and their whole goddamn point. And yes, I can hear the irony of saying all that whilst being incredibly stressed with this painting and trying to force it to where I think it should be going, as opposed to where the paint was trying to take me. It is a work in progress, okay? I do not claim to have been, healed, but I'm working on it. And I think if I wasn't recording, I probably would have walked away from the painting earlier and then came back later. Because looking back at it now, as I watch it play back, it doesn't look as bad as I remember it looking when I was painting it, because I was pretty much in tears at how bad I thought I was messing it up. And it just proves that whole idea how we are our worst critics. We are incredibly mean to ourselves, and I think I've mentioned in my previous video, but that is something I've discussed with my therapist, and I'm giving it to you for free. But just watch the language of how you talk to yourself. Would you talk like that to your best friend when they're down? Would you talk like that to your child or your siblings? Probably to your siblings, because let's face it, they probably deserved it. I'm only kidding. Be nice to your siblings. I wasn't, but then again, I am a Soviet child of the 90s, so I'm different and quirky and not like the other girls. That was a hilarious joke, in case you didn't get it, and I have completely lost my point of what I was going to say because I was just too concerned with making it funny. Was it funny? Probably not, but who cares? I just remembered we were talking about crippling self-doubt, so let's pivot back to that. I do it all the time. Every time I start painting a portrait, despite how much I love it, I am filled with dread of, ooh, this time is just not going to work out. And then by the time I started it, I only convinced myself more and more that it is all going horribly wrong until it clicks. And some days it clicks sooner than other days. And this painting just did not click until, well, the next day, really. So what do you do when it just does not click? Well, I like to redirect. I like to go away and do something else. I think at this point I was kind of reserved to the fact that, well, I'm going to finish this background and then forget that this painting ever existed and do it again. That was my plan. So I struggled with two concepts. One being staying true to myself, being authentic and submitting things as they happen, and two, putting a best foot forward and presenting a better work that I think I am capable of at this particular point in time. And I think both of these concepts have merit, but I needed time to make a decision. So I redirected by looking back and photographing over 130 different portraits that I've done over the past 2 years. And then I've put it into a short that I'll link somewhere here. And that reminded me how far I have come and how much I have done. So that really put things in perspective.
The next day.
In the light of day, the portrait didn't look so bad. I just needed to fix this line along here, and yeah, the hair is a mess. So what I decided to do is use some gouache and just a fine liner to outline the line of the face. In hindsight, this was way too much paint, but you know, I have not been using gouache for long. In fact, I used it like 3 times. So it's all a learning process, and I did use some of this paint to do yet another painting. But that's neither here nor there. Maybe next year I will get the hair, but it's just complex. There's a lot going on, and I'm still not very good at simplifying. Maybe that's something I'm going to concentrate on for this year, simplifying. And in the meantime, I did the best I could, which is still not good enough, but it is better than last year. That's all I can say, and I'm happy with that. If you got this far into the video, I'm going to assume that we're best friends now and you want to follow my progress and come back next year and see where I've got to. But in the meantime, if you could subscribe, that would be kind of awesome. Also, thumbs up, that's a thing people do sometimes. Much appreciated. I try and post fortnightly, and some of the videos are more structured than others. This one is less structured because, well, it's just a recap, I guess, and me having a moan, but also giving you a pep talk and myself a pep talk. We love a pep talk. And one day I will learn how to film and use a fine liner or a gel pen and not cover everything with my thumb. That day will come. I have faith. I know. Who is this optimist and where did she bury my body? I guess the moral of this whole rather long rant was that we all have bad days and good days, but it is important to remember on the bad days that that's all it is, just a bad day. But ultimately, if we don't let our fear and our insecurities paralyze us, we move forward. And when we move forward, we make progress. And we might not realize it is progress when we're in the moment, but look back and you will see just how far you've come. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really look forward to seeing you again. Thanks. Bye.